Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you as always for joining us. This is Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, joined as always by my co-host Andrew Don't Get It Twisted Lapachet, and this is the Mad Boxing Show, or Mad Boxing for short. Thank you as always for joining us. We wanna first and foremost say thank you guys for your patience because unfortunately last week we weren't able to get a show out to you guys. I had some family business to do in Tijuana slash Ensenada. So I am the chauffeur of the family. So whenever we got to go down there, I'm the one that's driving. So basically had to do that and got back Tuesday morning. So I wasn't able to, get back home in time to record something. However, we did not leave you guys hanging because I was able to. Let me adjust my camera here real quick. I was fortunate enough to receive an invitation to David Benavidez' media workout, which was held here in Vegas. He will be fighting David Morrell February 1st here in Vegas as well. And they had, like a media workout for him and for Brandon Figueroa. For Jason Rosario as well. So I was able to get down there and basically record them, working out, which is cool. I love being, it's not open to the general public, right? So I kind of feel like I got some exclusive coverage. So make sure to check out our YouTube channel because I did post David Benavidez working out, a couple of questions slash shorts, as we call them, right, in YouTube, of Brandon Figueroa answering a couple of quick questions. So not a bad week. We didn't really able to get a show to you guys, but we still didn't leave you guys hanging. We made sure to give you guys some sort of media, some sort of coverage, some sort of content, we can say. I plan to do more because there is going to be another fight in town besides Benavidez and Morrell. We do have Diego Pacheco here in a couple of weeks. So hopefully I'll make it to that as well. And if that is the case, make sure to keep an eye on our channel because there will be more media coverage. Thank you once more for your patience, y'all. So here we are. A couple of weeks we took off. Well, we took off last week. But Andrew, before we get into all the good shit, because we have some stuff to talk about. What's going on, dude? How you doing?
Hey, doing good. Just hanging out at the house watching playoff football this weekend. It's cold. It's not raining, but it's snowing, so I can't drive to Reno to gamble on my football. I don't want to drive through the snow, so I'll stay away. Whatchamacallit. But anyways, yeah, we're doing football. I was cleaning up the front yard because we did have a little sun today. So in the morning, I once I seen the Eagles were controlling the game, I went and did a little yard work. Got my front yard looking better. Took all the leaves and everything. So been an easy weekend. Yes, sir.
All right. So you guys get snow up there, or is it just when you go to Reno specific?
Yeah, just when I go to Reno.
Oh, yeah. No,
sorry about that.
No big.
Yeah, it's just on the way to Reno. Yeah, no.
Okay. Have
I'm
you had
in the
any
valley.
bad experiences? Because I've had a couple of bad experiences driving in the snow slash ice, and that's just fucking scary.
Ice. The last trip we did, we I think got the first storm of the year, and I slid one time. It was nothing big. I was going slow, but I did start sliding, and there was multiple cars that were off the road, and one was sort of in the tree. I don't know how. I think he came from a higher level. Yeah, I think they were above us because he was in the tree. It was a truck. It was like, oh. So yeah, didn't like all that. Oh, then the Mack truck, dude, just flying by. Miguel, I don't know how, man. It's fucking crazy. That dude was doing at least 60 miles an hour, though. I was like, he's gonna kill someone, but he didn't. I mean, we made it down the mountain. There was no accident, so the dude's obviously fucking highly skilled Mac. Or he just plays with fire, right? And he didn't get burned that day.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that too.
But that was scary as shit. And that whole thing is scary when they get behind you and you don't know if they're stopping or not, right? I was like, not doing this. I will say, the next week it was raining in the Bay Area, and I thought I was NASCAR. I was like, fuck this! I just throw you snow. Now, I will say I was being that guy.
You were too fast, too furious, like
this is nothing.
No,
This is
I hear you. Before I had an actual in between jobs. I actually did a job where I would fly out to Indiana, pick up the airport shuttle buses between me and five other guys, and we'd each get one and drive it to Vegas. It was like a batch of 30, so we would fly out, drive one, fly out, drive one, and basically
nah,
until all from here, dude, driving through the Rockies. That's just scary, bro. It's like
yeah.
and thankfully it was during the summer, but we got hail somehow, and I was like, damn, this is scary. So I've had my fair share of driving in like bad weather, and I'm sure everyone has, but I for the most part, I'm like, if I don't
You
have
do
to
a
drive,
lot of driving. You're a very
yes,
mysterious man, Miguel. We fly out, we drive back. We fly like 30 shipments. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
They're just I'm pushing units
Th-
here. That's
This,
kind of
yeah,
what.
this week you're like, I had to go to Mexico. You know, I'm the driver. You know what I mean? I go there, I come back. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I had to stuff the seat cushions. That's what I had to do. That's kind of the I bring back stuff. I'm just saying.
I
But
seen a movie about you. Right? The
I know,
driver.
right? That's gonna be very soon. Is be like, wow, I didn't know Mix was into that kind of stuff. But that means I'm home now. I'm officially home, and we can get back to the subjects at hand with stuff that's going on. So there's a lot of things going on. No fights yet. I think the first fight is going to be Inoue here coming up in a couple of weeks. His opponent has recently.
Yeah, lost again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, but the fight is still on, or at least like the date. Another opponent is going to be. They already named it. I don't know who the heck it was. I saw the name and I'm like, okay. So that's going to be the first, I
It
guess, big thing of
now
the year.
was I dreaming? It looked like Mayweather and Pacquiao put together. Did you catch that? The opponent's name? It looked like Mayweather.
I didn't. I did
It
not.
was fucking weird. I thought it was a joke, bro. I better not have been sleeping. Oh, I'm gonna be so mad if that's not the opponent's name, but it hella looked like it was a name with both of them tied together. I was like, what were these parents doing? Or the guy renamed himself when he came to America, right? We've seen that
Oh,
too.
that's right.
When
Yeah.
when they switched their names up. I'm
Mhm.
like, man, this guy thinks he's playing a joke. He's like, I'm Mayweather and Pacquiao, I'm both put together. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
got to
just
look it up, bro.
yeah.
Swear to
I,
God. If
I'm
you
sure it's here somewhere.
Yeah, we'll see it later on in the show when you hit
Yeah.
boxing news. But yeah, it was a weird name where it kind of looked that's what he was doing there. But yeah, didn't know the guy. Did not know the young man at all.
Yeah, and apparently that's going to be the first, the first boxing card of the year, which I believe I put it here on my calendar. It's going to be the 24th, because I think the 25th is when Diego Pacheco steps back into the ring. But that's going to be the first card of the boxing, and of course it's going to of 2025. I mean, so things. There's some news, even though there hasn't been any fights, but primarily there's a lot of hoopla over these Ring Magazine awards that took place recently. um so there's a lot of stuff I wanted to go over, but I'm going to start by this, because this is kind of sort of, I guess, maybe we can call the most important news that comes out, or at least some of the top news that came out of that award show. I'm going to start with a tweet by Rick Glazer, our good buddy Rick Glazer, saying, and this was, by the way, let's see, on the 10th, so just a few days ago. It says, being told by a very reliable source that Canelo Crawford possibility has greatly increased in the last couple of days. If signed, no word if it would be May or September. The world awaits. And this was on the 10th. Well, let's fast forward a little bit, because there has been quite some, I guess, updates that we can call it recently, that apparently there have been some sort of agreement. Let's pull this up here on Supreme Boxing on their Instagram page. It says, per Julianus Julius, I don't know this, from a Combatazo, which is, I guess, some sort of Spanish media outlet, boxing media outlet, is reporting from sources close to the event that Canelo versus Crawford has been agreed for September in Las Vegas. So there's been a bunch of other news, right, which we'll get into momentarily, but I definitely wanted to get that kicked off because, shit, if not top two, top three pound for pound motherfuckers of the world are going to face each other, or at least according to this. So that's kind of big news. Yes, there were the news of Ryan's and the Devons and the Gervonta Davises, which we'll get to momentarily. But this is big. This is like two of the top 5 pound for pound motherfuckers are agreed, or according to this, have agreed to step into the ring with one another September in Las Vegas, not even Saudi Arabia. So at first glance, Andrew, what do you make of this?
Well, Terrence has been begging for this fight for a while. We don't know how his body's going to react to that weight, but we're going to watch it. Like you said, it's two of the best fighters in the game right now. It does suck for Canelo, because I think it will backfire on him if Terrence Crawford does not look like the Terrence Crawford that we're used to seeing, right? If he's slower, if his power is not there, it's a no-win situation, because seriously, if he loses, then you're gonna have, it really hurts the argument for greatest of all time, even of a Mexican-born fighter, right? Because he right now he's got that argument there. You at least hear people saying that they have an argument that he's the greatest Mexican right now of all time. That would hurt his legacy big time to lose to Terrence Crawford, especially because Crawford didn't look that great at 160.
It was 154. It was 154 when he fought Madrimov. He hasn't fought since. That was 154 even.
154 he fought. So he hasn't even fought middleweight.
No, because there was talks about him and who was it, Chris Eubank or something? I forgot.
Yeah. They were just.
But it was like talks of potentially going up to 160 first, testing the waters, and then potentially 168. But he didn't even do that. And according to this, it looks like he's going to leapfrog 160 and go straight to 168.
So yeah, we're gonna sell that fight on their names, because we have no idea what the weight is gonna look like on Terrence Crawford, or take from his physical ability. So I like, hey, it's a big fight. Hopefully Vegas responds, shows Mr. Turki Ali Sheik what boxing can do, when you have two big headliners in there like that, So yeah, we're gonna sell the fight on their names. What a accomplishment for Crawford. This is all Crawford. This is a real big moment for him. Not only is he getting paid, because if he wins, look, he has a decision of staying or coming back down and being a millionaire, right? Because he's gonna come back down and now be the Canelo money. He's a $30 million guy you beat. So Alvarez at 168. So it's just a great opportunity for Terrence Crawford, and it's really just a money grab for Canelo. It's not going to look good on the resume. He came up one fight. Did he have one or two? I don't want to jump the gun. Terrence Crawford, how many fights he have at 154?
Just one against Madrimov.
Just one. So one fight at 154, then jumps 2 divisions. That's not going to look great on the resume, But to his we can at least say his defense, he didn't want the fight. He's kind of getting pushed into this.
Wait, who?
Canelo.
Okay.
Canelo's kind of getting forced into this one if he wants to continue boxing and work anywhere past David Benavidez' fight, you've got to work now with Mr. Ali Sheik, right? His Excellency. It looks like that's where boxing is headed. We're going to talk about Ryan here in a moment, but Al Heyman don't have too many fighters left. He does have 2 guys that could give Canelo and Ryan Garcia dates, and I think Canelo is taking the future instead of the big money grab. Oh, why did I go blank?
Oh. Snap. What the heck?
I don't know.
Well, while you fix that, I did want to bring up something in particular here that I saw from one Timothy Bradley. Timmy, this was a post from earlier in the month, January 4th. It says, "I woke up at 3 a.m. and something told me to study Canelo and study Crawford. Crawford is about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting you know right now he's about to beat the brakes off of Canelo." This is Timothy Bradley. Now, he's a former fighter himself. He's retired, right? So he's going to have a certain perspective that a lot of us outsiders or just fans / analysts aren't going to have. I don't know how the hell he came to this conclusion. I just see this quote. I haven't seen if it's a full-on interview or something like that, so he can give some sort of more of an in-depth explanation as to how this came to be. Because according to this dude woke up from a freaking, nightmare or something, and it's like, oh my gosh, yes, Canelo's gonna get his ass handed to him or something in the middle of the night here. I don't know how exactly he came to this conclusion again, but kind of.
So Alvarez is going to look like a linebacker fighting a wide receiver on that night. There is no way that Terrence Crawford is going to be able to match the muscle mass and size of Saul Alvarez. Saul Alvarez comes into that ring at 180. Terrence Crawford cannot.
Well,
Bro,
that's what I want to ask you. Do you think, and mind you, this is just the very beginning stages of any sort of discussion or agreement to that, for that matter, but is there any chance that in an effort to make the fight happen, Canelo is willing to do a catch weight? So let's say instead of 168, 164, something like that, like the way he did with Chavez Jr. Do you think that will kind of that will be part of it, or that will be part of the negotiations? Do you think he's going to do that?
As long as he can gain 10 to 18 pounds or whatever the max limit is on the next night, he's still going to be 20 pounds, 25 pounds heavier than Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is going to have to hope he can make 168 and not look like James fucking Toney, right?
Yeah.
And then not really gain weight over the night. It's going to be one where he's going to eat probably light because he's too heavy, right? For his what he's used to. It's just come on. It's Timothy Bradley's securing a ringside seat right there. Right? He's going to go against the grain. So his excellency will be like, oh, bring out in someone else will stick up for Terrence too. The majority of the media, the majority of the sports book, they're all going to have Canelo the favorite in this fight. And listen, it wouldn't be if they were the same weight. I probably totally agree with Timothy Bradley if they were the same weight, because Terrence is a bad dude. The dude got power in both hands. He's a great boxer. He's slick. So yeah,
and he's got a mean side.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's just a great fight, but it's probably a lot closer if they're the same weight. But I'm sorry. We're talking two fucking divisions. We're talking about a man who's in his 33, 34, I believe Terrence is right now, making a 2-division jump. Come on. That's ridiculous.
And for the record, when you say looking like James Toney, and we're talking about a cruiserweight / heavyweight James Toney, not the super middleweight James Toney,
no,
the middleweight one against fucking Michael Nunn or something. No, not that James Toney. The later James Toney. And when we were going back and forth earlier on Instagram, you had sent me a message, and I don't know if you're okay with me just reading it here, because when I sent you this is what you said. You said Canelo's safest choice. Turki has now proven he's just rich. Boxing is in trouble. That's a Andrew Labuschagne quote right there, folks.
Yeah, and I said that because of the text that His Excellency put out this week about the UFC connection, that he told the fighters, they better be used to losing, and what Floyd did should only happen once every 70 years. It's Coca-Cola didn't go, hey, we should start doing what Pepsi's doing, right? Nike never, Air Jordans didn't go, hey, we should start doing what Adidas is doing. Boxing's on top of the world in combat sports. I'm sorry, we might be old, we might be limping around, but when you look at the numbers, we have numbers now that stack up to the UFC for 30 plus years. Right? They've been on pay-per-view for 30 plus years now. So we have a good stat, a good thing to go off, a good mark. Go to the top 10. It's still boxing. They dominate. Yeah, the UFC might have a few of them now when they used to only have one. But the majority, 7 of them, are boxing, and they're not even close. The UFC is 100,000 buys away from Mike Tyson kicking them right back off. 2 of their fights wouldn't even be on there. Mike got 100,000 more. Mike Tyson, he fought how long ago? Or was relevant how long ago?
Yeah.
Probably 30 plus years. Right? So they haven't beaten boxing in pay-per-view. What are you talking about? We should follow their model. Let me say that again. People that are listening. They haven't beaten boxing in 30 fucking years, yet we should follow their model. It's not a good what? So then I go to the live gate. I said, all right, the UFC, they've been bad boys on the block, man. They're the guys coming up. Everyone wants to be a UFC fighter, so I was told 10 years ago. They're taking over. They're taking over. Bro, they got one fight on Las Vegas's top 10 live gates. One. And it happened in 2018. It's not even a recent fight. Was that their peak? Because you guys haven't done shit since then. We're talking Conor McGregor and McBeeb. How do you say his name?
Oh, Khabib.
The guy that beat Khabib. There you go. The guy that beat him up. Who just got kicked off a plane too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Who just got kicked off a plane for something?
Yeah. One fight, bro. All the 9 of them are fucking boxing in Las Vegas that had, and we're talking as recent as Tyson Fury and fucking Wilder broke a record. We're talking as recent as Davis and Garcia got on. All right, we're talking recent fights, you guys. What are we doing? So that's like boxing's in trouble. You seriously going to bring in Dana White, a guy who, yeah, their company was on the rise for a long time, but I'm sorry, the numbers just aren't there anymore. I don't see them driving the sport anymore. They're not doing. They are what my boss, my mentor, Art Gallegos always told me it was. They're a threat to the WWE, and that's exactly what it turned into. He told me in 2000, bro, the UFC invited Art to go to watch Liddell versus Ortiz, 2000, New Year's. He's walking out and he calls me and he tells me that. He said, Andrew, this sport does not threaten boxing. It threatens the WWE. I always give him that props, dude. He called that shot a long time ago. And that's what it's done. It's got toys. It's got lunch boxes, and T-shirts, and you can buy. Oh, look, we're $1 billion company. Give a fuck. What do you do on your live gate? What are your tickets selling for? What are your fighters making? That's what the dads that have their kids in a combat sport that's risking their life is thinking about. We're not thinking about what the fuck you're making on a fucking T-shirt that we're not getting any part of. Obviously, or you would see these MMA guys happy as hell. But they're not. They're constantly bitching about their money. And you're telling me I want to go after that model? That's where boxing is getting scary. His Excellency, listen, look, you guys, when you look at that photo that they took, and one, I want to give them credit. What a beautiful place. Bro, I've never seen athletes spoiled like that. What a beautiful place. And I'm sorry I don't know the name of the building that this thing was held in, but what a beautiful place. Did you see it? The murals, the paintings, like a empire, like they're in a Roman empire in the middle of the heyday, not in ruins. The thing was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. These guys are spoiled. They all had suits on. Great event. But don't tell them that they're going to be pit fighters now when they were prize fighters. We've been making millions since the early 1900s. And you like that on we. Sorry, you guys. They have. They're prize fighters, man. They're the best athletes in the world. These aren't jacks of any trade. That's the UFC to me turned into the jacks of trades, man. These guys, I practice a little this on Friday. I practice a little that. When the UFC first started, don't get it twisted. Those motherfuckers were solid. You had people coming from one background. This is what the fuck I do for 30 years, and my style will beat your style. That was a thing of beauty. Size didn't matter. It was skill versus skill. It was you meet in the jungle. For reals. They didn't have eye gouging, biting, and like fucking, you could beat it. Yeah, you couldn't like rip a man's cheeks apart or some shit. That was like the only 3 rules they had. Everything else was good because this is real. They wanted to make this is real shit, right? And I get that. If you're in a jungle, if you're in the desert, and it's you and the enemy and no one else, and you ran out of ammo, You better know some MMA shit, because boxing isn't going to be the only thing that's happening out there. So I got where the sport started, but what it turned into, get out of here. Get out of here. It's a jack of all trades, and boxers aren't that. They're masters. They're masters of in my opinion, the greatest combat sport that there is, and that's boxing. When you have lethal hands, when you have speed, reflexes, everything that it takes to be a great fighter, not just a boxer, not talking just I'm talking great. That's a deadly weapon. You don't want to face that. You don't want to face that. You got to tackle it. You got to arm wrestle it. You got to do a whole bunch of other things. You know what I mean? You got to kick it. Stay away. Don't ever get touched. Just keep kicking his leg, his ankle, his knee, whatever the fuck you're kicking down there. But so I'm a little nervous, man. I don't like where he's going with that. Listen, this is what I'm saying about that picture. Beautiful place. What's it missing, Miguel? I didn't text you because I wanted to spring this one on you. What's it missing in that photo?
Well, first I need to figure out which specific photo you were talking about.
The one where they're on the one where they're all on the stairs. It's all like he takes a I think I sent it to you.
Yeah. No, What is it missing? Oh,
what is it missing?
I'm looking at it right now. Damn, I don't know.
And I'm sorry if I get this wrong. I should have told you to look at it. That's wrong. I'm making you do it live. I'll tell you what it is. There's not an American promoter on that fucking thing. I'm glad that he has Eddie Hearn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that he has Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren.
Then I saw Eddie because I was like, oh, wait, I was going to say, well, there ain't no promoters there because we've talked about it before. At some point, Turkey's just going to bypass them and go directly to the fighters, what I thought. And then I want to say, what's his name? Frank Warren too, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
so
Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn.
English promoters. No American promoters. No, I don't see. Was Oscar there? I don't see Oscar in there.
No.
Maybe he's definitely not top. Bob.
Because of the video you sent me, I know Oscar was there.
Oh, okay.
The Eddie Hearn goes, Oscar was sitting across from Canelo.
Yes.
Ryan sitting across from Devin Haney. So we know Oscar was there. His Excellency doesn't take one picture. As of right now, and I went to Turki Ali Sheikh's page, his Instagram, his Facebook. I went to the Ring magazine page. There's no pictures with Bob Arum. There's no pictures with, I don't even think Bob Arum's in the building. There's no pictures with Oscar De La Hoya, but Oscar's, I think, there. Was this the power of Canelo? Did Canelo say, I'll come talk to you, but you need this motherfucker is not, I don't want him around me. Hey, look, Canelo sitting at the table with his Excellency in there. It's Suleiman and Canelo sitting with, and I think Usyk's on that table too. All the high heads. No Oscar. No Bob. It's not looking good for American promoters. It's not looking good for, I don't know, man. I don't know where this thing is headed, but I'm telling you right now, dads will be leaving if you start giving us this UFC bullshit and not be able to take a loss. And then he brings up, Miguel, this is another thing. He brings up Muhammad Ali lost 5 times. Yeah? Chavez lost 15 times. Roberto Duran lost like 20 times. Leonard lost 7 times. Like, they all lost. Where's that going? Anywhere? Muhammad Ali was undefeated in his 30s. Hello? Roberto Duran's undefeated. He has 1 loss all the way up to junior middleweight or welterweight. Come on now. What are we talking about here? You understand? What do you have? 80-something wins before his first loss? You want to act like, oh, he lost all the time. No, he didn't. No, he did not. He loses a lot when he's old and gaining weight. But in his prime, he beat Sugar Ray fucking Leonard. Crazy. It's crazy talk, bro. It really is. I mean, if you're telling us you want fighters to not be Floyd and retire with an O, that's great. Just keep them fighting. Because all the legends eventually start losing. But you want us to you want a boxer to lose in his 20s People will not spend $25,000 per seat to watch somebody with 5 losses in their 20s. I'm sorry. I'm going to look at the same fucking model that you told me to look at. Look at the UFC. They're not spending that type of money. The biggest event the UFC proclaims they've ever done was off of the back of fucking you. The tickets dropped 700%. And then His Excellency steps in, and now it's the biggest thing in the world? The fuck out of here. That was on you. That's what I'm supposed to look at? I don't like it, Miguel. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm telling you, Junior's going to start throwing fastballs. We're going to do brand new doing. We're going right to baseball, bro.
Shooting the fadeaways?
Oh, he likes basketball. Don't even get it. He didn't make the team, though. He tried making basketball. We got to practice more. But he did it. He already tried basketball at his school, He did try that one. But yeah, we'll start doing baseball. Fuck out of here.
Well, that's certainly going to be what is it called? Yeah, discouraging people from Americans at least, right, from proceeding to pursue sports like this, in particular boxing. It definitely will make dads think twice, right, as you mentioned. So one of the other questions I kind of wanted to pose to you is, what do you make of this? We've talked about it before, about His Excellency coming in and pouring a bunch of money into the sport, trying to make the best fights and the biggest fights, I guess. And only a few people had not just the integrity, but also the bank account to say no to him, like Gervonta Davis, like Canelo. Well, not Canelo anymore. Clearly, things are on the up and up, and things are starting to be cool. What did you make of that? Because when I first saw that picture, my buddy Martin, he sent it to me. He was like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And I was like, "Oh shit, what happened? Is what occurring? What you had mentioned before, where they're kind of starving them a little bit. Like, all right, well, Canelo, you're only going to have so many opponents if everybody's working with His Excellency. So at some point, you're going to have to fucking give in." What was your first impression when you saw that? Like, oh, what the?
He's a smart businessman, is what he showed this weekend by showing up there and working out this deal. That's why I kind of said he's forced into this fight. I hope he wins. I'm gonna be going. Listen, I hope it's a great fight, because you know what? I like Terrence too. I like both guys though. It's a great fight. Canelo deserves to win. Terrence deserves the payday. But I don't think Terrence is moving up 2 divisions, and really it's 3. One fight at 154 does not make you a junior middleweight. So, it's really going up 3 divisions. I can't back that as, he's like Timothy Bradley. I can't do it. I got to stick with what boxing history has always showed us, and that's the big man is going to beat the little man. And I'm sorry, there's no bigger case of that than in this fight. This is clearly the definition of a great big fighter taking on a great small fighter. I don't know if we've ever had a fighter jump this many weight classes to take on a fighter of this caliber. You know what I'm saying? It's a bold move. That's why, if he was to pull it off, his ranking goes so high for Terrence if he was to pull that off. So yeah, he's got a lot on the line. But yeah, no, Canelo, he's a smart businessman. He told us he loves boxing, right? Boxing's his life, so he wants to continue fighting. David Benavidez is not that great of a payday. Look, we're not even sure if the Prime Amazon pay-per-view model is working. So, why would you risk your future? And honestly, the way they were spoiled this weekend, did you see the PBC ever do anything like that for their guys? They had $700-something million at one point. Look at the generic ass backgrounds the PBC used to give us. Fucking cheap ass lights, little DJ smoke. Remember those PBC fights on Fox? They were definitely not what His Excellency, and not what DAZN, even DAZN over there in Europe. They know how to bring a fighter into the ring too. They got a lot of the lights, the music going on. So no, it's a great move for him. Stupid move for Ryan. Did you hear Ryan walked?
Ryan walked?
He walked.
I heard No, I mean I've seen bits and pieces of him and doing this, getting into it with Connor Ben, I think it was, stuff like that. But as far as him walking, like him booking it from the
Yeah,
event,
the event. Yeah, he
mm.
didn't strike a deal with His Excellency. He's gonna run. He ran back to. That's what Bill Haney said. Bill Haney catches him at
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
at
that's right, that's
at
right.
the hotel, and you can see Ryan don't want any part of it, dude. He does, dude. Ryan looks hella discouraged. His dad's like, his dad's all trying to be all Mr. Cool Guy, and he's like, no, don't be cool with me. You're walking on. You're walking. You know they would have started talking shit if the fight was on. Ryan would have been
Mm-hmm.
happy. He's making $100 million. He'd been like, fuck you, I'm gonna kick your head. That would have been the perfect time like what Connor Ben and him kind of did. That's the perfect time to make something go viral. And believe me, Haney and him erupting at this ring thing, because it was in a parking lot, very
Mm-hmm.
WWE-ish, right?
Yeah.
They always used to stage those little arguments in the parking garage. That's
Before they
what
got
this
into the ring, yeah.
was. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that's what this was. So yeah, that's where it ended Steve Austin's career, right? Parking garage. He got ran over by a car.
Oh, I mean, not really, but I mean, yes, of
It
course. I
hurt
mean,
his neck, bro. Don't you do that.
no, his neck was big and been hurt, dude.
Guy gets hurt.
Trust me.
Guy takes a fucking limo to the head.
I,
Miguel goes, ah.
I've watched that damn entertainment long enough to know that
Oh,
they just did
shit.
that so he'll get fucking surgery. It's like, all right, that's the storyline. You got hit by a car
Oh,
by
I
this dude
believed it.
who did
Stone
for the
Cold.
Rock, and
I
then you had
had,
to
I
take some
had,
time.
I had his fucking shirt. One tough SOB.
Yeah. Oh yeah, precisely. That definitely Jim Ross would call him the bionic redneck because of how many damn surgeries he had on his fucking neck. Um, but
But
yes,
no,
no, that's what I thought. Because like exactly that. Like, all right, well, he's kind of bailing from flipping out and wanting to not engage with the Haneys and basically leaving that deal on the table. Well, he's gonna fight at welterweight, chances are, and it's gonna end up being who's the fucking welterweight there? Oh well, look, Conor Ben.
and are you talking Ryan or Devin?
Yes, I'm talking about no, Ryan.
No, I think Ryan's gonna go running over to Prime and Al Heyman. They've got the Tank rematch. They got Pitbull Cruz still. That's still fight. He's fighting with Al Heyman on the Morel
Yeah.
Benavides card, and then you have Mario Barrios, if they wanted to take Ryan to welterweight. So he has 3 fights that he could potentially do with Al Heyman, and I think that's why he walked from the Saudi Arabia deal. He knows Al Heyman's probably a little bit easier to work with, right? Look, the Haneys are going to say that it's a drug thing. He didn't want to take the VADA testing, or because I guess it would have started this weekend.
Hmm.
Yeah, it might have pissed him right there when he signed the paper. So,
No,
hey,
right.
if we're clean, we're clean, right? If we're clean, we're
Yeah,
clean.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're talking about small, areas like, oh, it's not even enough. Like, okay, well then here's the fucking, there's a
Yeah.
bathroom right over there, sir. By all
Yep.
means, because that was part of the second part of the story. Because again, there's many things going on that happened at this weekend. One of them being that Devin Haney saying that he agreed to the fucking deal and said, all right, now the ball's in your court. Now is your turn. And now we see the end result from Ryan.
I will
Garcia
definitely tell you, Miguel, the tides seemed
Yeah.
like they turned right there in that parking garage. It really did. Ryan did not want any part of Devin, and his dad is literally, he's just like and feels like talking shit. And he says, I mean, this is a guy that was walking out after the fight going, fuck you, man, fuck you, suck my dick. Remember he did that to Eddie Hearn in the hallway. Eddie was like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, fuck you talk hella shit about my son. Where was that attitude at? Where was that guy? Now you're like, we can't test. You fuckers, fuck you guys. Because you know that, hey, great move on the Haneys if that's what they pulled this week. They're like, oh, Ryan's coming? All right, hey, tell him in the contract we want drug testing this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. And, so on that note, Tank saying, all right, yeah, tell them, talking about Riyadh season, that he wants 150 mil for the rematch with Ryan.
He's talking to Al.
He's talking to Al?
He's talking to Al. At that point,
not his excellency.
Nah, he's not going to Riyadh. He's not going there.
That's the reason he's saying that amount. Like, all right, Fine, I'll go to fucking Riyadh. 150 mil on the table.
I didn't hear him say Riyadh. I just heard him say, give me 150. He's talking to PBC. That's where that fight's getting made. The rematch.
He's talking to Oscar. No, I mean like Oscar / Ryan. And
no, bro, because he's been having troubles with his own people. It's been Al Heyman and Leonard Ellerby and his coach. Really, I still haven't seen Calvin. Calvin's still not in any of his videos, so I don't know if his dad is now not even with him. Remember, he said he looked at him as a father figure. Guy let him sleep at his couch. He was sleeping on the steps as a gym. All that shit went out the window. Made 1.4 million buys. Gotta go.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because like, if he's having trouble with Al and Ellerby, and he's kind of between a rock and a hard place, and a possibility of a rematch with Ryan, and mind you, Ryan is with Oscar still, and Oscar is the whore that we know he is, and he's over here with His Excellency. Well, then why wouldn't Tank be like, all right, well, fuck, Ellerby and Leonard and Al, hey, right, Riyadh, Turkey, 150 mil, let's do it then. That's how I took it. I thought, well, he's talking to in Turkey.
No, the fight did 1.4 million buys. He's going off of that. It's going to be done by Al Heyman. They're going to do over 1 million buys again, and he might be right. He might be right. And so there is no reason to talk to His Excellency for this fight. This one will be done here in America, and it's going to be done by Al Heyman and Prime. That's why Ryan walked. Ryan had the option on this one, and look, they both still have Pitbull Cruz. Pitbull Cruz is another guy that's sitting there. If Al did a fight, PBC fight with the winner of Tank and Ryan, if it's not a third fight between them, because if Ryan wins, then we have a potential third fight between these guys. We have Tank Davis fighting on the undercard of both of those times, and he's the guy that's going to get the winner of the fight. Then you have a move up. He has a few more options still at the welterweight division that he doesn't really need. These guys don't really need His Excellency. And I'm telling you, Tank has already been talking about retirement, and we've kind of already laid 3 potential fights on pay-per-view for him. That would be his retirement walk, and he never even goes to Riyadh. Unless they give him the 2 Lamborghinis. Because if he wins those 3 fights, he will probably be worth the 2 Lamborghinis. Just saying.
Yes, if we get those fights and if he wins them, because a second side story to that is now we have Mark Magsayo saying that he's the backup in the event that Lamont Roach isn't able to fight for some fucking reason. I have yet to hear anything in particular about Lamont saying that he will or won't show up. I mean, if you ask him, that's obviously the biggest payday he's ever had. So there's no way he's gonna bail. If anyone's gonna bail, it's gonna be fucking Tank, because we've seen him, act up on social media saying, "Oh, fuck it, the fight's canceled. I'm taking my ball and going home." So I don't see how it would be Lamont who's gonna, not make it to the fight. But according to what I read, Mark Magsayo is the backup who, I don't even know what the fuck weight class he's fighting. I don't think he is at 130. I think he's fighting at 126. So anyway, another small guy moving up most likely. But what do you make of that news? Like, that seems a little fishy. No, it's not. And when I saw the post, I was like, hold on, a backup for Lamont? Why the hell would Lamont bail from the fight? What does that seem kind of fishy?
Yeah, Tank has got some problems coming up with this fight. This fight. With who's the first opponent?
Roach.
Lamont Roach. Yeah. Is Roach officially out, or is this just a plan B if Roach doesn't basically accept probably a pay cut?
He's not out. He's not out. And as of right now, I have yet to hear of any possibility of him bailing, because if there's a chance that there's some sort of pay cut, I'm sure it's still a lot more than he's ever made before. So you might just agree with it anyway. Agree to it, I mean. So I don't see a possibility, or I don't see a scenario where they would really tighten the squeeze on Lamont enough for him to be like, okay, fuck this, y'all, taking too much out of my fucking paycheck or whatever. I'm out of here. It's still the biggest payday he's ever had. So I don't see a scenario where he would be the one that bails, but rather tank for whatever the fuck reason, I'm sure. But I haven't heard anything. There's no official nothing yet, at least. It's just more like a plan B in the event that Lamont bails.
What I find weird about this one is on my feed, I have a closed circuit company that always puts on the fights that they're showing through bars, right? Call our
Okay.
company, get the things. I've seen them already showing the Morale Benavidez fight, but they're not showing this one. And it's kind of weird that the PBC is only selling one pay-per-view to this company. You'd think they would have them both attached and say, call us for Tank and Benavidez. But it's not. So I'm like, I wonder if this fight is gonna get canceled, is what I'm leaning towards, that, because like I said many times, in pay-per-view, when the closed circuit world does not buy into your fight, it usually doesn't move forward, because they need the bars, they need the Dave and Buster's, all of those franchises to invest into these fights to make them the real big money. It's really, if you're not getting the closed circuit money, the fight usually never goes through, or it's going to be a bust. And we know that the PBC has taken a few losses in this last few years on their pay-per-views. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. That's why he's in right now. And this is where I want to go back to His Excellency and how foolish it was when he said what he said about Ali and how they need to start acting like Ali and knowing that they're going to have losses on their record. Some of the best fighters in the world went through Top Rank. And Top Rank was not easy with their guys. When you look at the resumes of some of the guys that went through Top Rank that were on top of the game for a few years, or number one fighters, their pay-per-view matches are not, duds. You know what I'm saying? The Oscar De La Hoyas, the Manny Pacquiao's, the Eric Moraleses, the Roberto Duran's, Leonard's. These guys had fight after fight. They were fucking fighting nothing but good fighters. It's not their fault that they were the best, and sometimes they stood undefeated then longer than other guys. You know what I mean? He needs to really do his homework before talking. The UFC is a shit show. One, because there's a lot of other ways to lose in the UFC, right? There's a way, a knee, a fucking toe jam, fucking pull back, you get your fucking finger pulled, you're choked out, you're elbowed. There's so many ways of losing. You got to be a master at all of that. In boxing, we know that it's boxing, right? There's only so many punches, there's only so many combos, right? Got to really do your homework before you make a comment like that. You're really taking away from the guys that you say are legends, these all-time greats. Now what are you saying? You guys aren't shit. Oh, if you had a fight like the UFC, you'd be losers. You guys would have lost early. I'm over looking to the side again. They're always to the side of me.
Right. They're just slightly off camera. They're sometimes they're to your left, sometimes they're to your right. They're just moving all over the fucking place. They're in stereo.
But you get what I'm saying? Like,
let me read this to you, bro. I'm gonna read the quote specifically because I see it here. It says, "We must now have it be normal to lose some fights in boxing. All of the fighters want similar to the career of Floyd Mayweather's 0 losses. This can happen one time every 50, 60, 70 years. We need like the UFC model now, where the champions are losing and winning. Muhammad Ali lost 5 times and he's still the greatest, or the legend, I should say." That's what he says.
Yeah.
The shitty part is when you like, for what you just said, like, he needs to really seriously think about some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth sometimes. Who's gonna tell him that? Ain't nobody gonna fucking tell him that, right? Like, that's kind of the shitty part. Like, ain't nobody gonna be, there's no open discussion there.
No,
gonna be like,
well,
on the side, like, oh, hold on, Turkey, think about it. Like, what the fuck you mean think about it? Off to the fucking, guillotine you go.
There are moments where you can talk to him, right? You can't publicly embarrass these type of men, right? So you don't want to do it like at a question, at a pre-fight or post-fight press conference. We're not trying to do it then. But if you get to walk with him, say he likes your company, Ask you to let's walk to the fight together. I walked with the president of HBO numerous times, bro. I ain't even fucking lying. Yeah, what was the man's name, man? I even tried to pitch. I tried to pitch shows to him for boxing. Oh yeah,
of HBO boxing or just HBO?
Yeah, of HBO.
Okay.
Oh, he was there all the time. He was black, the black guy. Damn it, what was his? I'll remember it. But no, sometimes you run into these guys in the media room, in the hallway, right? And you can bring that up. You can say they're not stupid, man. They're just uneducated, probably in boxing, right? That's where I'm going to take that. And you got to be respectful when you do it. You better. You better, think of a way to say to be respectful. But no, I think you can, because he needs help. This is obviously showing that, dude, when you're trying to, once again, I'm going to say this again, and you can put this in the title. Coca-Cola did not go to Pepsi to see how they were running their business. Boxing does not need to go to the UFC. The UFC has had 30 fucking years to take the numbers from boxing. They all told us they were. Matter of fact, the same night that my boss Art told me that they were not going to take boxing numbers is when the clock starts. That's 25 fucking years ago. We're in 2025 now. Liddell fought Ortiz in the new year of 2000. 25 years ago, bro. And you're telling me you got one fight in 2018 that breaks the numbers in Las Vegas, and you only have three fights.
Which, by the way, one of those guys was undefeated. Just an FYI. Just an FYI.
I hear you going.
Right. That's probably one of the reasons we did the numbers did, is because one of the motherfuckers had a 0 on the other end. I'm just saying.
That's right. No, that's right, man. It's what people want to see. People will pay to watch athletes do shit that they can't do. That's why we watch Stephen Curry shoot fucking threes from midcourt. That's why we watch Jordan jump from the halfway line. That's why we watch Bonds and McGuire and Sosa send 70 fucking bombs out 400 feet. Sammy used to send them out of the stadium. They literally, Chicago Cubs have, windows? You ever seen it? He hit some right out the window when they had them open. He'd send them out the damn window, bro. Some of them he sent over and they'd go into dude. Bond sent them into the fucking ocean. Like, come on here. Or the bay, excuse me. I'm going to eat for that one. But you know what I'm saying?
All right, yeah.
You guys know what I'm fucking talking about. We pay. That's why the WNBA don't make shit. They're not doing shit that men can't do. Men can do a fucking layup. Men can miss a three-pointer. I see this shit at parks all the time. They're not dunking the ball. They're not doing anything special on those courts. So people aren't paying big money. And I'm sorry. In the UFC, when you have guys that have 9 losses, 7 losses, 6 losses, their noses are crooked, their ears are fucking beat up. God, these men are fucked. Eyes are all scarred. Look at it's a joke. It's a joke. We are the Michael Jordan of combat sports, is what I would tell him. We are the Coca-Cola of combat sports. Until our numbers get taken over, don't look anywhere else but the model that Top Rank has done for you, the model that DAZN has done for you. Even though I don't like everything that DAZN does, their name's attached to some of those fights. You understand? And where they're at right now looks like they're going to be the leaders of our sport. Follow these men that have made these fights. You know, has the UFC ever done 80,000 plus in London? I don't know. I'm just, because boxing's done it 30 times, 40 times. Boxing's done it a lot. Boxing's been doing 80,000 plus out over there since fucking Lennox Lewis. You understand? Like, we went Klitschko. Now we're into Fury. Then we're into AJ. Like, that's generational wealth. Don't tell me you're going with another model now. Don't tell me that. This is stupid. We might have now. I do like the fact that he said a lot of it was the fighters, and he's talking to some of the American fighters that were fucking around with PBC and Al Heyman.
Yeah, that's right. One of the reasons why I was going to say that. Like, he wants to change the model because whatever direction the current model was going, it wasn't going in a good direction. But anyway, that's what I was trying.
No, I would agree with that. I would agree. Yes, there's some fighters that need to change their thinking ways, right? But don't disrespect. And I know that's probably a hard thing. That's a hard way to say it to them, but we got to look at the past of boxing and recognize what boxing has done on its own, right? And we are the leaders in combat sports. There is nobody that generates a bigger live gate than a great boxer with an undefeated record sometimes. Sorry. I mean, Ali's great, but the fact that him and Joe Frazier were both undefeated when they fought made that fight greater, right? The fact that Foreman was undefeated when Ali beat him made that fight greater.
Yeah.
And was Liston undefeated? Oh, was Liston undefeated?
Oh shit. I
would have to look it up.
So.
My bad.
Yeah,
all right.
I don't think so, but I can't.
Okay.
I mean, don't quote me on that.
But it always made the fight. Maybe it was Ali that was undefeated. He's the kid.
Oh, it definitely was. Ali was.
Yeah, he's the undefeated kid at that time. It always makes the fight better. That's what makes it legendary, right? Sorry. It was just, I didn't like it. I don't want to go. And dude, I'm telling you right now, you bring Dana White in as the boxing fucking guru, I'm out. We're Tracy Giants, I think it is. Here we come.
Whatever the minor league version of the fucking. It's like, all right, I'm going out and buying him a fucking Spalding basketball tomorrow.
I'll send you the photos the next day, bro. You tell me that motherfucking Dana White is the new president.
To see videos of fucking your son sparring. I'm like, why is he shooting free throws? What's going on here?
Now he's at a batting cage.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, now he has a fucking Wilson boxing. I mean, pitcher's mitt or something. Because I wanted to bring this up, because that was one of the other topics. Is the shit Saudi Arabia in talks with UFC owners to create boxing league managed by Dana White. That's the headline. This is on the New York Times. Yasir Al Rumayyan. Hopefully, I didn't butcher that. The governor of Saudi Arabia's vast sovereign wealth vehicle, the Public Investment Fund, watched the action from ringside and is getting even closer to being part of the action. A company owned by the fund is close to creating a boxing league with TKO, the owners of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, a deal that would be a new competition featuring up-and-coming boxers tied exclusively to the league. Could be announced within weeks, according to 3 people familiar with the matter. The investment in the new league will be made by Sela, I don't know what that is, a subsidiary of the Public Investment Fund, TKO, which is the majority controlled by the entertainment and sports conglomerate Endeavor and embodied by Dana White, the UFC impresario, as they call them, a longtime friend of Trump's. I don't know why they need to include it in there, but anyway, would be a managing partner. So he would be a managing partner. In return, TKO has offered an equity stake and a share of the revenue, according to the people familiar with the matter, who spoke on the condition of anonymity ahead of the official announcement. So they seem to be creating a new league, is what the word, but I mean, in boxing world, it's a new promotion, a new promoter, I guess, and that's the way it seems, at least. So I don't know to what extent, because according to this, it's a deal that would see new competition featuring up and coming boxers. So I don't know if it's going to be necessarily the elite of the elite. I don't think we're going to see the Crawfords and Canelos of that time, whenever that time comes around. So it seems as though it's going to be more developing younger fighters. I could be wrong, but again, the announcement will be coming in weeks. But yeah,
it's a losing business model if you're talking that people are going to fly to Saudi Arabia to watch young men start their careers.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Exactly.
I want to kill that idea before it starts, because it's not going to go anywhere. Just saying, right, bro. Nobody's paying money to go to Saudi Arabia to watch the pro debut of their nephew.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I mean, nobody's paying money to watch, Olympics right now anyway, as it is. So it's just like, ain't nobody, paying 25 cents to fucking get into the arena to watch like 7 people fight,
Yeah, so whatever they're thinking about starting It's got to be, if they're doing a league and they're going to do these fights locally here in America or the UK, wherever these kids are fighting out of, then yeah, I'm all for it. You want to do a new branch out and have young guys, what is Showbox? You're going to be the new Showbox of
Right.
the sport.
Yeah. The next
Cool.
generation or the new generation, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Showbox was cool for Showtime, and it pulled a little bit of numbers, but it was never a $1 million payday. It never did that for any of the fighters. You know what I mean? So, it's a bad model for what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring tourism to Saudi Arabia. You don't want to go with the guys that no one knows. So yeah, no. Then Dana White, he's had a fight. UFC Fight Pass has shown boxing for a while now. I don't know how many years, but it's been a few years now that they've shown boxing, and we haven't seen any champions come out of the UFC Fight Pass where they're like, I got to give a shout out to Dana White who started my career, or you understand, we have no link to any of these guys that have fought on the UFC Fight Pass. So, I don't know how good their talent scouting is doing. If you haven't had, Showbox, I got to tell you, they had, I think, 18 world champions when they were done, maybe even more. I'm just remembering the commercial when they would say they've had 18 world champions. So let's say 18 plus world champions come off of that show. That's a great talent scout that you had on Showbox that was finding these young men that turned out to be champions later on. For some reason, Dana White hasn't been able to do the same. So, and if he hasn't done a great job of getting that to go viral, that his company has shown 18 world champions before they were crowned a champ. Because that's a great stat to have on your network. Because then you're actually showing people that you have legit talent fighting there. You have guys that are going to be a name later on. People might tune in. I don't want to watch. What was that Tough Man contest? I don't want to watch that. That's why that didn't make it. And they ran for a few years, and people were like, I could do that in my backyard. It's fucking bullshit.
So let me pose this question to you. What if, in an effort to do that, and we've briefly talked about it before, but never too deep, because it's at the very beginning of, we're still at the very beginning of Turki and his expansion and his money being poured into the sport of boxing. One of the things that they were thinking about, right, and we've talked about it briefly, is trying to find their Saudi, how can I explain it? Their Saudi Oscar De La Hoya. Remember the guy that they had from the very beginning? It's like that's the point. At some point, could this be some sort of attempt of doing that, of trying to find that young guy who's going to come in and be the first, golden child of Riyadh season, basically what they're doing with the sport? Would that be one of the motivating factors behind trying to start something like they're doing? Up and coming boxers, they say that as a general, statement, but they're probably looking for the diamond in the rough.
And you're talking for the Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
All right. Yes, that's going to make them the most money. The first guy that they can find that builds their career on this platform is going to make a shit ton of money, especially if he's from the Middle East, if he's from the UK, but he's Muslim, if they're Muslim in general, right? They're going to make a lot of money. What I'm nervous about on it is the UFC Fight Pass has been running for years and they haven't done it yet. So you're telling me because you throw them a bunch of money, this company's worth billions of dollars, right? That's what I was told. So money's not a factor unless unless Dana White gets a blank check where he can start paying guys like boxers. Because seriously, to get good talent out of the Olympics, sometimes you are paying more than the guy who's just coming to you saying, "Hey, I'm undefeated and I fight out of this gym," right? So maybe if they give him a blank check, he is able to sign the Shakur Stevensons or Oscar De La Hoya's right out of the Olympics, where Fernando Vargas, Mayweather, names where guys already had a name established for them. They had the look to sell a ticket, right? But they're pro debuts. We don't know how they're going to turn out. If he can start buying those guys, then yes. But if they're just asking him to keep the same budget that he puts into his UFC Fight Pass, I don't expect them to get any world champions because they haven't done it yet.
So, on that note, on Mr. Turki Al-Sheikh, you sent me a post recently of some of the major fights that he wanted to put on. So some of these we've already talked about, and some of these we can go into a little bit more depth in. But first and foremost, of course, Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Okay, we're off. Fucking, we're hitting the ground running with that one. Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois 2. Okay, that's gonna be a good one. I don't know if it'd be a blockbuster per se. It definitely isn't Usyk and Fury, for fuck's sake.
Right.
But
Right.
it makes sense. Mind you, this is considering Dubois gets past Parker, which we haven't got there yet. Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Okay. Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney 2. All right, we briefly talked about that. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn, which we've kind of been, it's been kind of in the news, but kind of not because it hasn't actually happened. So looking at these here, we've already talked about, briefly, at least Alvarez and Crawford. The likelihood of that fight actually taking place is pretty good now.
Yeah.
Usyk Dubois 2. Okay, that can happen, sure, if Dubois gets past Parker, which we don't even know yet. Fury and Joshua. So that's the first one that we kind of haven't even touched on. Well, at least now on this show, we've talked about it before. That seems like a pretty easy fight to make, especially with both these guys kind of coming off of, I won't say kind of, but coming off of losses, right? Who do you think? Consider it. Well, okay, Joshua got knocked the fuck out. Fury didn't. So going into that fight, Fury would be the A side.
Fury is going to be my favorite, but it's not by a lot because of his chin. I no longer can put faith in Tyson Fury's chin. If Joshua touches him, there's no saying that he doesn't knock him out. With that being said,
Joshua hits harder than Wilder?
I think he hits the same. So if he touches him, he has the potential of knocking him out. Yeah, I won't. I don't know who hits harder, but they're both knockout artists. So I think if he lands a clean shot, he knocks Tyson Fury. Has the potential of knocking Tyson Fury out too. It's just a fight that I wouldn't bet on. Maybe bet on it not going 12 is probably where I would lay lay my money on that one. But if Tyson Fury had a better chin, I have him beating Anthony Joshua hands down. He's just a better boxer. He's going to score the points and probably pummel Joshua by round 8, 9. It might not be a pretty fight anymore because we know Joshua will break mentally in a fight. Fury has that fucking magic to do that to him. I don't know if the current Tyson Fury has that same magic, but when these two were in their prime, I think Tyson, he would have been all in fucking Anthony Joshua's head. Today we just seem to have a lot more relaxed Tyson Fury, where I don't know if he has that same fire anymore. Got a lot of millions in the bank. Sometimes that takes away. Makes you look.
I mean, it does, but I mean, this is kind of sort of a bragging rights thing, right? Two English fighters going at it. I don't see that as being like how can I explain it? He would be motivated to be the Tyson of old, the kind of guy who would, because I mean, the fact that this fight is happening or could potentially happen, I should say, and there's no titles on the line. There's really the only thing that is at stake is the bragging rights. I'm thinking Fury's is really gonna do his, Dosser or whatever the fuck he called Wilder act during the press conference, and he's gonna get into AJ's head right off the bat. I think. I mean, what other motivating factor? There's no belts. I mean, obviously big payday, but other than bragging rights, I think that's more than enough motivation for him to bring that old Fury back, I think.
I would we're really going to test His Excellency's theory on it doesn't matter if you lose, the fans will still pay to watch you. They're going to test that one big because these seats won't be cheap, bro. Mm-hmm. Yet, like you just said, both of these guys are coming off of losses. Anthony Joshua is now the knockout of the year for the Ring magazine, and it was not him winning it. He's the guy being knocked out. So how much money are you willing to spend to watch these two ringside now? Are you willing to drop 20 grand Are you willing to drop 15 grand to watch these two fight ringside? His Excellency might find that the boxing fans do not care about names when it comes to being over the hill. When Muhammad Ali lost to Larry Holmes, no one was ringside going, "Nah, don't worry, he's gonna be great again. He's still the greatest." No, they were like, "Dude, you need to fucking retire." Right? This is it. And they weren't spending probably 15 grand for those seats. So
No.
you gotta watch what you say. And this is really gonna test this theory. That's gonna be the most interesting thing, is to see what kind of gate this fight brings in, because it is a fight of two losers. It is a fight of two guys. One is retiring after this night. You're really dropping 10 grand to watch some guy to say, "I think I'm done," as soon as the fight's over? Because that's what's going to happen. Anthony Joshua will not leave that fight. If he loses, is not stepping out of that ring without saying it's over, because it will be over. He's done if he loses Tyson Fury. So.
And I do agree that this is going to be probably the first real test of what Turki is saying, because just to kind of give you some insight, the rematch between Fury and Usyk, obviously the first one Usyk won, so that put a loss on Fury's record. But in the rematch, obviously Usyk was still undefeated. I'm going to read this real quick. Turning to the rematch, Boxing Insider Rick Glazer disclosed that the pay-per-view sales for December 21st fight comfortably surpassed 500,000 pay-per-view buys. I think that's worldwide. 500,000 worldwide, that's not half bad. It isn't obviously a million, but for one guy having one loss on there, that isn't exactly tested too much, because we are still talking about, Fury, and it's only one loss, and it's to Usyk. Now, both these guys with Fury and Joshua, both of them coming off of losses. Fury, 2 straight losses. That's really going to be the test. This one guy was undefeated. The other guy already had a loss, talking about Fury and Usyk, and it still did 500,000 pay-per-view buys worldwide. So there's still interest there. Now with 2 losses, I mean, which one do you think would be the worst? I mean, I guess the knockout, I suppose, personally, but 2 straight losses over here from Fury to the same dude, or the knockout loss from fucking AJ coming into this fight. People still be interested in seeing that?
Fury still, his fans might be, they're more interested in Fury's future than Anthony. Joshua has lost decisions. Now he got knocked out. And the matter that he got knocked out, he was knocked out cold. Yes, he got up, but he was gone. You know what I'm saying?
He was
mentally
face first when they went down. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think Joshua is kind of in a fight by fight contract right now with anyone. You win it, cool. Let's see if we can get him, another opponent. Might be Wilder. I'm not even lying. Like, they've always wanted to see them two fight. Maybe they put that together just because, right? Wilder is coming back. He's going to be fighting for Prime. I don't know if you heard about that, but Wilder did sign a fight against some nobody. The dude has power, but I never heard of him. I want to say he's 12-0-9 or some shit like that. So he has knockout power. But I don't know who he's fighting. I don't know. Didn't recognize the name. So Anthony's in a fight by fight thing. Fury has 2 losses to Usyk. If he was to start winning again, no. I mean, he only has 2 losses to the same guy. Boxing has gotten past a person with 2 losses, right? When you're talking UFC records, when you're talking guys losing in their 20s, no, dude, they're not going to be spending thousands of dollars when guys have already taken defeats in their prime. That's not how boxing fan base was built. I've always said this, and I'm going to keep saying it. Boxing has always been a rich man's sport. It really has. That's why the rich like paying to watch those type of fights, because these dudes are fucking bad. One guy's 30-0. The other guy's 40-0. They've got all the titles. All of them are all shining. Like, that's what we pay to watch. You don't pay to just watch Arturo Gatti versus fucking Mickey Ward was not charging 10 grand ringside. And that's one of the greatest fights of all time. But they're fucking Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti. Yeah, they give us our heart and soul, but are they undefeated? They gave us 3 fights. Why wasn't the 3rd one? Why isn't that on the live gate record? The 3rd fight should have. These guys gave us everything. It's not
All
how.
right.
It's not what we pay to watch. We pay to watch things that we don't see, and that's 2 undefeated. That's the best of the best. And bro, these guys' records, when they get to that level, when you get to the top 10 of the world, and you're the top 5 of the division, and you're fighting another guy who's undefeated, most of the time you have 2 proven records in there. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Now, there have been times where Morrell versus Benavidez, one guy might not be. One guy might not be proven, but he's still undefeated. Yes, that has happened. But most of the time, you know, James Toney, Roy Jones Jr., you understand what I'm saying? These guys were both, one's from the Olympics, the other one's fucking pound for pound. That's major shit. People pay big bucks to watch this shit go down, dude. Like, no, we don't want to see
Oscar
the guy that has
Felix, right? Oscar and
Felix.
Yes.
Yes. Oscar's from the Olympics. Felix is a fucking 18-time title defenses of his title or whatever he had at that moment. A 5-year champ. So that's what we want to see. I was a little ticked off, you would say, when I read when he said, don't disrespect, don't disrespect the fighters of the past, don't disrespect Bob Arum and Top Rank and Don King. You give Don King the Lifetime Achievement Award and then basically say Dana White pushes his fighters to be harder. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Don King used to put on great fights, and I'm sorry that Mike Tyson and fucking Chavez won the majority of them. That's not their fault. They're masters at their craft. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? They were born for this shit. So yeah, I guess Sugar Ray Robinson just bunch of fucking hand-picked fighters. What do you go, 89-0 something? If he would have fought like the UFC guys, if he had Dana White running his career, it wouldn't have been shit, right? Fuck out of here. Don't get me canceled. Your Excellency, I don't want to get canceled. I'm not trying. I get hot, bro. I'll tone it down.
It's the hoodie. It's the coffee. All right. Well, then one of the other ones on the list here, Garcia Haney 2.
Rocky Marciano, soft as fuck, right? No, he said every 70 years. All right, I'll give. Go ahead. Fun.
That gets a pass. No. Garcia Haney 2. All right. Well, we just saw what happened, right? As far as like Garcia talking about, fuck this, I'm out of here. Not really. I mean, with the possibility of Garcia and Tank rematch, we seen Garcia and Conor Benn, kind of, go at it. It seems like Devin Haney has fallen to like option number 3 for Ryan. Doesn't seem too likely that we're gonna get this one, huh?
From what it showed on that video, not anytime soon. And the fact that Ryan has options with the PBC and he's not a solidified pay-per-view star, but he had a very good opening run, you would say, right? Because even the Devin Haney and that fight did over 200,000 buys.
250, I think it was.
250. So that was majority of that is Ryan. Sorry, Devin's not a pay-per-view star at that time. It's Ryan Garcia that probably brought in those numbers. So I expect the same from him, 250 plus on his comeback fight. So they know that about him, and that's why they walked away. They have the option of walking away and doing that route. So my thing is the PBC fan base, right? Because unfortunately, I don't know if there's going to be too many diehard boxing fans that are going to be willing to spend the $90 or whatever. You might have a lot of guys streaming Davis and Ryan Garcia too, more than paying, when His Excellency is giving pay-per-views for 40, maybe 20, dollars. 40 at the max, I guess is what we're being told. 20 on a regular day.
So far.
Yeah. So it's like, does the fan base even have? The PBC has been out of business, it seems like, for so long. Are their fans going to come back when they announce Tank Davis's fight with Ryan Garcia too? Will there be interest? I don't think my daughter will be. She watched the first fight. She hasn't heard shit from these two guys since. Ryan's been kind of, chaos, and then he's kicked out. I don't know if she'll be getting the rematch, so that's a fan That's a buy that they had last time that probably won't be there for the rematch. So it's we will see what happens with the PBC. Do they have fights to put on Prime? Yes. Will they be successful? That's a big question because both guys are going to demand a lot of money. He's going to be in the hole in that fight. So he's really got to pray. Al Heyman's really got to pray that one has a repeat success that the first one did. But we're talking almost 2 years later.
You think that much? I mean, 2 years is a long time for things to cool off, and definitely not striking when the iron's hot. By this point, the iron's cool as fuck. But you don't think? I mean, we're talking 1.4, I think it was, right, million pay-per-view buys before. So let's just say, I don't know, a half, or not half, I'll say a quarter of that is gone or something. It's still under, whatever. What is it, 700,000? We'll still say, let's just say it does 700. It won't be the same success as before, but that's still quite a bit, no? I mean, let's say it does. It'll do over 500K. We look at.
Is whatchamacallit demanding 150 million? Because then 700,000 buys aren't shit.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They need to not only have a Floyd Mayweather pay-per-view success rate, but they need a Floyd Mayweather pay-per-view live gate to give this motherfucker 150 million.
Yeah.
So, no, anything under $1.4 million is not good for Al. If his man is demanding that type of money we know that he's overpricing himself, so he'll get 100 million, but it's still 100 million. It's still 80 million. And look, people, he's gonna deserve it in that fight. Because the first fight did such good success, and PBC has no other options. This is where you strong arm your guy, right? And that's what Davis is doing here. He's strong arming him. And so he'll be worth the money as long as the fight has the success as the first one. He'll be worth the 80 million that you have to give him. But if the fight is not as hot as the first one, you're 80 million in debt before the thing even gets thrown. And we haven't even look at Ryan's on this side, and we haven't even paid this guy.
he snuck in. How did you? Damn, he knew your dress. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm out of this fucking Ring Magazine award. I'm going to.
He flew right to here. He flew to Tracy, California on a private jet.
Like, don't forget, I'm here. I'm off to the side.
Oh, poor Ryan. He looked so embarrassed. He was like, his face. As soon as he seen Bill, he's like.
He looked like butthurt, like he was butthurt.
Hell yeah, he was. Fucking drug test. Fuck you guys.
Why do you got to bring that shit up, man? Fuck you, USADA. All right. Well, one of the last ones on this 5 fights that he wants to see, Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. I think, maybe over there in the UK it does numbers, but where else, no one gives two flying fucks about it.
That's Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn tag teaming this dude in a room, eh? And I don't mean that in a Diddy way. I'm talking about that's two used car salesmen working their guys. You know what I mean? Oh, this is a big fight. Eddie, tell him. Oh yeah, it's a big fight. It's a great fight. Man, don't no one give two shits about that fight anywhere else but the UK. That's just what it is.
I can imagine how that looks. It's like fucking Eddie Hearn is like, right, that's a great fight, right, Frank? Like, no, that's not. Oh, I mean, yes, it is. Yes, that's a great fucking fight. That'll fill up an arena. Good Lord, yeah.
And it might in the UK.
Yeah,
but if you're trying to put that on pay-per-view, I might not. You better be 20. It better be 20 because the whole UK card thing I wasn't really into. I know they try to throw a few American over the even Mexican fighters in there, but I'm not really into the whole UK undercard thing either. If I don't really know the fighter, I get upset that I have to pay money to watch them. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's understandable. And then like even when I think about this fight, just the fact that we saw what happened with Ryan and Conor. I mean, you don't think Conor, like, things like, man, fuck Chris Eubank. I'm over here fucking, Ryan. We can make much more money over here with Ryan. And, if Ryan doesn't want to do this thing with fucking Haney, well, here you go. I'm available, and it's at 147. So that seems like that one seems, I mean, besides the weight classes, because these guys are several weight classes apart. I don't know how they were going to do this to begin with. They were going to meet somewhere in the middle. I don't know. But regardless, now Conor probably doesn't even have to. Now knowing that, now I have this possibility of a fight with Ryan, maybe here in the UK or Saudi Arabia, whatever. it seems like this is probably, of all the fights that we saw here, probably the one that's the least likely to happen, which is weird to say because it's probably the easiest one to fucking make, but chances are it's the least one to actually happen.
It's almost like they're stringing this one out like the AJ Fury, right? Even though it's not on that level, they're acting like it is. They're acting like this has always been a sellout. You know, Eubank versus Connor is just, that's the fight they've always wanted to see over there, and it just they're gonna wait too long. Both one of these guys will take a defeat, and then it'll be a Amir Khan level after that. You know,
Well,
Cal
it
Brook
isn't.
was it Cal Brook Amir Khan?
Oh yeah, that strung us along for that one. They had the carrot on the stick for that one.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta look up because I don't think Chris Eubank is undefeated. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. Let me, because I could have sworn he wasn't, but let me just
Oh
look it up.
yeah, who did he lose to? You're right. He did lose. He lost to someone who turned out to
Yeah,
be
he's
decent.
got. Oh, Liam Smith. He lost to Liam Smith. He lost to George Groves, and he lost to Billy Joe Saunders. Bam.
Billy Joe
He's
Saunders.
got,
That was the one. Yeah.
oh, that's the one you're thinking about.
Yep. So it's already getting there. That's why I'm saying. And you know what? That's why the fight's not big in America too. That reason right there. Sorry, Your Excellency, but the 3 losses from guys over there. Oh, I think we've said this on this show. He hasn't even proven that he's the best coming from fucking UK, and we're supposed to pay pay-per-view money to watch this guy. Come on. Another positive I'll give to the Riyadh season, Opatai, the cruiserweight.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see his knockout last week?
I sure did. Yeah.
Very exciting. Very exciting. We never would have known this guy if it wasn't for His Excellency. So props on Riyadh season for bringing Opatai to the world. Dude, a few more wins like that, and he will be at least gunning for the heavyweight Usyk. I'm not saying he'll beat him, but it'll be a fight that's at least on the radar for Usyk.
Yeah.
Nice little payday.
It'll generate a fuck ton of interest.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it'll generate a fuck ton of interest.
Yep. Hey, dude, I thought that dude had a shot, man. 6'6".
Yeah, I looked at it, dude. I saw
huge,
some of his
bro.
quotes, and he's like, I'm willing to go in there and just let it all run. I'm like, oh shit, okay, this dude is, comes at least it looks like he has the physical tools, and coming in here with, I mean, such a heavy favor Opatai was. It's like, dude, you have nothing to lose. Go in there and just go balls to the wall and leave everything in the ring. I mean, he did. It didn't work out in his favor, but I mean, he went in there and he went out on his shield. Like I'm sure he wouldn't have it any other way.
Yep. So that's at least one of the things we talked about on this show was this whole new global boxing thing that he's creating for DAZN was going to benefit the fighters in that sense, that we would see guys we just wouldn't see in America if they didn't, come over here and fight. So Opatai is the first guy that is seriously benefiting off this new global network.
Yeah, very true. Okay, so moving on to one Teofimo Lopez. So he was there at the award, right? He brought his Ring Magazine belt. He hung out with Canelo Alvarez for a little bit. He recently posted a couple of things, and I don't know which one came first, so I'm just gonna put it in this particular order. He posted something on his social media, him pretending to be homeless. He's basically, out asking for change, right? He has a little dog on him, with him, and he's like petting the dog, and the dog's name is Tank. So he's like, "Don't worry, Tank, we'll be fine." So he's got over here a fucking a sign that says like $1 a day keeps the haters away. So basically, he's over here looking like he's trying to fight, but no fights are being offered. Like there's no one wants to fucking fight me, right? We've talked about the offers that were sent to who was it, Devin Haney and I think Cambosos, right, the rematch, and they both turned it down. However much was offered, I forgot how much it was, but again, it could be just him talking, or it could have been actual numbers. But on top of that, now we have Teofimo Lopez turning down the final offer that was, in negotiations with Matias. So now we have him over here pretending like no one wants to fucking fight. He's like, hey, I'm over here looking for a fight, looking for a payday, of course. And then he turns down this. I don't know the numbers. We don't. Obviously, nobody was in there. None of us, at least, I don't know how many media members were in the negotiating table. Probably none of them. So we don't know what numbers were being thrown back and forth. What ultimately that final offer was to Teofimo for him to say like, yeah, no, I'm not done with this. But he said no. So now we're not going to get a Teofimo and Matias fight, which I thought was very much easy to make. Matias, I thought he was. I figured once they announced that the possibility was on the table, and I figured these guys were going to come to a deal real fucking fast, and they didn't. So, what do you make of that, first and foremost? Well, first, let me ask you about that stupid post that he did of him pretending to be homeless. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, I'm like, really, you're going to go that route?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as Floyd saying they're paying me slave wages, but it's borderline, right? You're homeless. Come on, you're making millions of dollars, but you're homeless. It's kind of sad, right? Even if it's only 2 million or 1.5 million that they're giving you, you're not homeless. You're nowhere near it. So let's act our age. But unfortunately, recently, Teofimo Lopez hasn't been acting his age at all. Racist comments have come out of his mouth. Stupid posts of him pretending to be homeless, even though he's a millionaire. Um, Turning down fights, multiple fights. I just hope he's all right. I hope everything's going good for him. He talked about Ryan Garcia's mental stability in the past, right? Said Ryan should reach out to him. He knows what he's going through. I'm hoping he's not having an episode here because, like, what do you want? Like, I don't know what Teofimo wants. You know what I mean? You've had the best of the best in the Devin Haney's. You've given a title defense in the
Matias, yeah.
Matias fight. Matias isn't the best of the best. That's a fucking title. That's a title defense. That's a check. You know what I mean? Like, what are you looking for? He's not really being clear on what they're not giving him. If it's money, then give us the price that you're asking for. Because then we'll know at least where he's at mentally. If he says he wants 1.5 million and they're only trying to give him under 1 million, well, then fuck, maybe I agree with him being mad. But if he's like, bro, they're only trying to give me 2.5 million for Matias, then you're stupid because that should be sparring money. You know what I mean? That guy, so it's just bad where Lopez is right now. The guy he's squandering a lot of potential that he had. I mean, you see, he was on the path to being one of the best of all time. And it's really stalled out. I don't know where it's going to go from here. What I think he's doing, if I didn't get this correct, it seems like he's going to just hold out until the middle of 2025. And I believe the contract with Top Rank will just expire. If I'm mistaken, then I will tell you guys next week that I had it wrong. But if I heard him correctly, this contract, once it expires, there is no, you owe me a fight. If they don't get the fight done, then it just goes away. Did you hear anything like that when he went on that little post that he did?
So there's a couple of different posts that I want to read to you here. So the first one that I found says, Teofimo Lopez turned down Top Rank's final offer, way above his contract minimum, according to what I was told. And this is the reporter being posting this quote. Before a deadline late last night, and this was several days ago, for a WBO 140-pound title fight versus Subriel Matias, Lopez and Matias would have fought on ESPN pay-per-view main event March 15th in Las Vegas. So it would have happened in March. It would have happened here in Vegas. It would have been pay-per-view. It would have been the main event. That was from the reporter posting it. Now, this is from Teofimo himself. I'm flattered and honored that you all love to see me fight right now. However, I've got unfinished business with Top Rank Inc. I will be fighting this year, which is guaranteed by the powers that be. 369. See you soon. I don't know. It's 369, and then it has like a little key on there. And it says, you will see why I did it. Why I did. So according to what he's saying here, it seems as though he's trying to hold out, and we will at some point find out why he did. One of his other posts, it says, What's my buyout again? Top Rank. I'm leaving this post definitely too. I think he meant 200 because he put 220. Speak my truth. My word is my bond, he says. What is the number for the buyout, Top Rank? So that's him saying that. Another one
And
of
maybe
him.
that's what I read. That's probably
Okay.
what I read, where I came up with the fight with no, he cannot
Yeah.
fight him and walk away. It's the
Yeah.
buyout.
There's a few more. Check this out. He says, I'm too expensive for Top Rank. But the truth is that Todd DeBoff, or DeBoff, I'm going to pronounce his last name, is the issue here. He hasn't liked me or my father since I started the takeover established in 2018 and probably beforehand. Now he is the chairman of Top Rank. So people do the math. By law, I have freedom of speech. Okay, whatever. Another post of TFMO's. The Top Rank ESPN contract deal ends July 26th, 2025, and for contractual reasons cannot overlap another network deal until then. That part I don't quite understand, but regardless, I continue. If so, it becomes a conflict of interest, which can bind their current contract. What that means either. They need Teofimo to get more lucrative network deal. Last one. I'm gonna go back to the other one because I'm not sure if I understand that one. But anyway, it says I solidified my stamp in the boxing Hall of Fame. I don't know about that. You did some stuff. I don't know if it's Hall of Fame worthy yet. I don't care what you guys think or what you guys do. All right. I already won, according to him. I've beaten you all. Okay. Now I leave this to God and to deal with you and I. Send all those who look to harm me to the foot of Jesus. So this one here is the one that I'm not sure. And you know, sometimes I understand why boxers become boxers because they're not the brightest motherfuckers in the world. The way these guys talk sometimes, or the way they type out their fucking messages, like I don't know. Maybe I'm just not. My comprehension is
No,
just
you're
not
right.
there. But I don't get what the fuck he says sometimes. Top rank contract ends in July of 2025. Got it, right? And for contractual reasons, cannot overlap another network deal until then. So right off the bat, what the fuck does that mean? They cannot. Top rank cannot overlap another network deal until then, so they can't. I mean, I don't think that's what I think he's saying because Top Rank has proven this wrong already. They have already secured some sort of deal with DAZN, so we know they're going to DAZN before before the contract ends, before we know it ends in July. So it says if so, it becomes a conflict of interest, which can bind their current contract. I don't know what that means. I don't get it. Are you understanding this, or am I
No,
just
I'm
reading it
not.
wrong? I don't get.
No, I'm trying to think of where I'm even trying to say it in my head like he was talking, and it's not. I'm not understanding what he means there, because the only contract it would be binding is the new one that he signs. You can't walk away without him buying out ESPN's last fight with him,
Mhm.
meaning they would have to pay
Right.
Top Rank to not fight.
Right.
Um,
Well, people have
that's
done it
the
before. Floyd has done it before. People
yeah,
like that have done it. Yeah.
that's the only way their contract wouldn't be legit. I gotta say that if there's one fight left, he doesn't do the buyout, Top Rank will immediately take him to court when their contract ends and tell the judge, hey, he either gives us $2 million today or he's fighting for $2 million on Wednesday. They'll give him a fight date. And the judge will go,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, you owe them one fight. Oh, wait, I got this fight with His Excellent. I don't give a shit. And I got to tell you right now, I
Mm.
think the buyout will come from His Excellency. See, these are the types of things that we were mentioning to you guys weeks ago about there will be a time where His Excellency Turki Ali Sheikh will have these fighters alone, and they start talking about, do we really need your middleman? You're working for me now. I'm going to give you all this money. I got a list of all these fighters for you. Why does Telefimo need Bob Arum anymore if he really only answers to His Excellency now? So then he
Could
goes,
that have happened this weekend at that event?
that's
Top.
where I'm
You,
leaning towards. They
you didn't see
told they
Top. I mean,
told
you didn't see Bob Arum, right?
They told Telefimo straight up, ask your boss what the last fight is worth. Because if it's only $2 million, I'm sure this company has that in their fucking piggy bank. What is that? What is that drawer? It's like the drawer they buy the food. What is that? What is that called? the fun cash or whatever, the fun cash drawer at their office probably has 2 million sitting in it, bro. They like buy Lamborghinis for guys on prizes and shit. They're like, just ask the secretary. She will give you the money. Just it's there. It's in the drawer.
That's what they use to buy the cars that they give away at the events. Like, oh, like I have the fucking car. This dude
She
just pulled
probably
out
weighs out. You want me to be real? She probably like weighs out diamonds. Here, take that to the car dealer. You'll get a Lamborghini. They probably don't even give out cash, bro. It's gold bars and diamonds at this place. Eh? Like the fuck. He's like, tell Top Rank to go fuck off. That's why they're not in the picture. Where's Todd DeBuff?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Oscar? Yeah. Oscar's in the building, but they didn't ask him to be. I wonder if he was smashed. Oh, Oscar, I hope you're not drunk when they were taking the picture.
You don't think? Well, I mean, I think we would have found some sort of like videos on that shit by now. I don't follow Oscar on social media, but I'm sure
His Excellency, His Excellency. I don't know if as a man that would let that kind of publicity get out of his show. They would probably just escort him to his room and tell him he's done for the night.
Well, so hold on. Where the hell did this?
I don't know, man. I tried looking it up.
It wasn't Saudi Arabia, or was it? Was it Saudi Arabia? No, or was it? Because there's no alcohol over there, supposedly, right?
No, there is some drinking for foreigners.
Oh, okay,
remember it said that. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So wow. There is some drinking for. So yeah, hey, it's a beautiful place. So yeah, I definitely would like to eat dinner in that building. It was something that you thought you only seen in the history books, right? They were like, wow, they still build places like that. It's fucking yeah. Dude, the mural is so big. If you guys haven't seen it, you got to go look it up. Wherever he rented to put on this show is like nothing I've ever seen before in boxing. It really isn't. I've seen a lot of shows. I've seen Don King put on a lot of shit over in Atlanta, over in Las Vegas at some hall in a casino. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just a hall downstairs at the Mandalay Bay. This thing looked like it was in the movie Gladiator. Seriously. Right.
Fucking columns and shit.
Yeah.
So according to this, Teofimo turned down this last offer, right? We don't know numbers, obviously. What do you think he turned it down strictly because of the money, or strictly, or in addition to the money, the risk of fighting somebody like Matias? Because I mean, why would this even have? If Teofimo wasn't willing to fight someone like that, it wouldn't even gotten to this part, or the negotiation wouldn't even gotten this far. But they did. So you get the impression that he's interested in fighting somebody like Matias. But do you think from Teofimo's perspective, the money that he was offered isn't worth the risk that he could take against somebody like? I mean, I think he beats Matias. I mean, especially looking at how Perot
Matias
did it, so.
Matias is to Lopez what Benavidez is to Canelo. I'm gonna just leave it at that. And yeah,
really? That's kind of
Canelo makes way more money fighting Crawford in Las Vegas. He's gonna make way more money. That fight's gonna make way more money live at the gate. It's gonna be make more on the pay-per-view. Remember, David Benavidez, they said, made $60,000 in his first pay-per-view buy. The Mexicans don't even like him. Sorry. There's more than 60,000 Mexican fight fans in America. They don't even like you. And they were right, too, because now you don't even look Mexican anymore. It looks like that pay-per-view buy has.
I think he improved, because I saw him.
Okay. Yeah, you just seen him.
Yeah, check out the videos. He must have watched our videos. He's like, oh shit, maybe I should get rid of this.
He's all, we're getting closer to fight date.
No, right? Exactly. It's like, oh shit, I got a lot of people, fucking following me here. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and get back to the and I want to say he still had the wave. I think he still had that. I took several pictures. You know what? It didn't even occur to me to look. I took several pictures of him, so I have a record of it. But I think, I mean, it wasn't like he walked into the gym and took off his fucking do-rag, because he didn't have that on to begin with. But I think he still had the wave going in the hair. But I see an improvement already.
Yeah, I don't mean in far as would he put up a good fight against Canelo, because he probably would. He's younger, he throws a lot of punches. I get all that. But as far as money wise, they're the same. Where I believe Teofimo is probably the plan B for His Excellency on Devin Haney. I think if Devin Haney doesn't get the Ryan Garcia fight, because they've already mentioned the Lopez Haney potential being a fight they're looking at, they would that is going to make Teofimo around $4 million right? 3 million. This is the highest paycheck he's ever gotten. He's gonna be like, fuck Matias, fuck Top Rank. I'm gonna buy out and I'm gonna go make the biggest fucking payday that I have, plus have a future, because His Excellency is the future. It's not Top Rank. And I think that was solidified this weekend when Top Rank wasn't even in the building. I'm more. I'm kind of leaning that they're going to be selling. I think Top Rank's going to get out before Bob dies. I think he sells the business, and he should. He should sell while there's something left to sell, because I don't know what 2026. There might not be anyone signing with any of these guys, but His Excellent. Like, why would you sign with anyone else after this company gets established with DAZN as the global fight network, and they have all the dates and they have all the opponents, and Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn are definitely in. They're still in the picture. Crazy.
Yeah.
That was a crazy photo, bro.
It looks like he's really. I mean, Bob Arum. I'm talking about Bob Arum wanting to leave Top Rank in a good spot before he bails. And it's like, okay, well, this is the last thing, the last major movement or the last major decision that I'm going to make on Top Rank is take it to DAZN.
Yeah, but with. Oh yeah, so they're gonna have some kind. Why weren't they in the photo then, bro? Maybe I have to look at that photo deeper and look for Todd DeBuff, because you know what? I wasn't looking for him. I'm looking for Bob. Maybe Todd's in the picture somewhere. I'll definitely look. Because you gotta blow. You hell have to blow. I was blowing it up, looking for Al, looking for for Oscar or Bob. That's who I was looking for, and really Oscar. I was really shocked that Oscar wasn't anywhere in the
at least
table
in the front.
shots.
I mean,
yeah,
the fact that we don't shouldn't have to look for him. Like, he's Oscar. He should be quite easily visible there, even if it's not right next to fucking Canelo, maybe on the other side of Turkey or something.
That's what I was gonna say. I think Canelo took his spot. Canelo was like, if I stand here, there will be no De La Hoya.
Maybe he beat him to it. It's like, all right, everybody gather up, and then fucking like Canelo got there real fast. Like, all right, motherfucker, go ahead, come on, come stand next to me then if that's what you want. And then of course, the bitter ex-girlfriend that that Oscar is like, no, fuck this. That bitch's already there. Fuck this, I ain't going. But back to Teofimo here. The fact that he says I'm too expensive for Top Rank. I mean, I don't know how low they lowballed him there, because I'm reading this here. So I guess let's go down the rabbit hole. He doesn't sign up for a fight in 2025 until
July.
July, right? And immediately we have Top Rank on DAZN, and their first card, Teofimo. Teofimo.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's what he's waiting for, is the ESPN deal to be over with. Expire. Then they go over to DAZN and work a deal with His Excellency to give him a pay raise. Yeah, there you go, Miguel. That could very well be it.
Because as you said it earlier, granted, he's trying to buy it. What's the buyout? But is there an alternative? Is it just
that could be for ESPN?
Yeah,
that could be for ESPN. Maybe he has to buy them out, right? Because they would be getting a majority of that money. Yeah, that's a good call, bro. Yeah, so maybe that's the first fight that His Excellency Top Rank do under DAZN. Not bad.
Because it occurred to me when I saw the fight earlier, what's his name, His Excellency, with all the fights that he wanted to, the ones that we're talking about earlier, right? I'll bring this up here shortly, but none of those was Teofimo. See, here we go. So it's Canelo, Crawford, Usyk, Dubois 2, Fury, Joshua, Garcia, Haney, Eubank, and Ben. No Teofimo. I mean, I know he's not there yet, but I mean, fuck, I thought, all right, well, why wouldn't Teofimo fucking be there?
No, that's not a coincidence, dude. It's not a coincidence that he's talking about signing a fight or having news on the month that they're leaving ESPN. Come on, there's no way that's a coincidence. That's attached somehow. You hit that one on the head right there. There's if it Top Rank will be involved in bringing Teofimo to DAZN, and wherever the relationship goes after that fight, who knows? Maybe he says, hey, thank you, Bob, for getting me here, but I'm now working with them, solely now. Don't need you taking a percentage of my check for, signing my fucking dates. So that could be very well what that means there. I still don't know what the future for Top Rank is. If you have no say in the matchmaking right? He's over here talking about you guys need to be more like the UFC, and these guys don't work that way. It just seems like they'll be butting their heads so much. You know, you'll have talking behind people's back as soon as things don't go right. Say you have an Anthony Joshua type fumble, or a who's the other heavyweight? Big Baby. The
Oh,
way they
Miller.
fumbled
Yeah.
his career, right? You're gonna have Top Rank going, see what the fuck? You guys don't know what you're doing. This is the third time you took one of my guys, or second time you took one of my guys and ruined his career before he was ready. That just seems like it just doesn't seem, like if Top Rank doesn't have a say in running the business the way they've been running it for decades, why are we here? Buy us out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buy us out. They got to move on. I mean, hell, they have enough money that the kids, Bob Arum's kids and his grandkids, if he has any, don't know, but if he does, they shouldn't have to work. So he's done his part in life. He said, you know what I mean? He's done it, but he made generational money for his family. Here, buy me out, and I'm going to a retirement home. Come visit me. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Bring some soup. We're at it. Right? Bring some soup. Yeah. So we'll say this is Teofimo's plan. Who do you think realistically? Because I don't think he'll immediately jump into the deep end his first fight on DAZN. I think maybe he'll do some sort of warm up or something. But we can skip the warm up. As far as first legitimate opponent, who do you think they will give him? Do you think he'll stay at 140? You think he'll go to 147?
He's got to follow. Haney's going, right? Because I think he's the opponent for Devin Haney. He's got to go there, not thinking he's the A side of this, right? He's kind of the guy that's trying to get his foot in the door. Devin Haney would be his first fight there. So if Haney's at 147, then they fight at 147. Then he was going to do it for Crawford. If it's the highest payday of his life, I see him doing it for Devin too. So it's matters where Devin's comeback fight ends up.
Yeah, because I mean that seems more plausible now looking at the way Ryan bailed from the situation, right? The way he fucking walked. All right, well that leaves Haney without an opponent. We can toss Ryan out of the picture there in the lineup of the 5 fights and throw in Teofimo's name, but maybe we couldn't do that yet because Teofimo's not over here yet.
That's right. He's got until July.
Because I saw that and I was like, hold on. You're too fucking expensive, really? Because I mean, mind you, this has happened before, right? Where Top Rank says, "All right, go try out how things go," and he goes to DAZN and he actually has a fight with Kambosos on DAZN and it doesn't go his way. But it wasn't the payday that he thought he was going to get. Unfortunately, Top Rank basically called his bluff and said, "All right, go fucker, see how it looks." And it wasn't the $6 million or whatever the hell that amount was that he was asking. Huh?
Has any of Teofimo's fights been on pay-per-view with Top Rank? Are we missing anything that we can go off of? He's fought in Kambosos. He's fought in Lomachenko. That was both ESPN, though.
Yes, they were
he
ESPN.
fought Josh Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that one was pay-per-view. So no, because Miguel, I think if they're offering him a high payday for Devin of like $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think ESPN is giving him $3 million for his first pay-per-view. Bro, they wouldn't even know if they're going to make a dime off of this kid, right? But you expect us right out the gate to just give you $3 million? We know he's not that big on the live gate. He's never been you never heard them go, here at Teofimo's fight in a sold-out crowd here at the Madison Square Garden, right? Or what's the one Jay-Z owns?
In New York?
Yeah, the stadium they're always fighting at over there.
The
arena. Jay-Z's arena, the basketball arena. Bronx.
PBC Barclays.
Barclay. The Barclays
Center. Barclay. In Brooklyn.
Oh, in Brooklyn. Yeah, we've never heard these type of things, right? Kambosos didn't sell out. Lomachenko didn't sell out. That's what I mean. So so what I'm trying to say is if they're offering him a career payday, ESPN said, yeah, fucking walk, dude, because you're not getting that from us. So
they were offering to put him on pay-per-view against Matias. I mean, again, the money wasn't
there.
But
if they're guaranteeing, if he's guaranteeing him the highest payday he's had, we know his money's good, right?
We know
Turki.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
His Excellency. If they're offering him a high payday, guaranteed purse with Devin Haney, and ESPN can't get that fight at all, they're not giving him a highest payday to fight Matias. So they would say, fucking walk, buy us out and go over there and fight for him. Now we're out. They're out of boxing. ESPN, I'm sure the budget for boxing in 2025 isn't shit because they're out.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Well, I think that I went through all my fucking stories here, and I think those are the specific ones that I want to touch on. Was there anything in particular that you had in mind? Mind you, this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is our first 2025 show, isn't it? Because
Oh, yeah.
New Year's came around, so this is, if, in case we haven't already said it, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year. Thank you so much for, of course, stopping by and being patient with us. Because again, last week I didn't get a chance. I didn't get a chance to, sit down and have internet access. I actually did have internet access in Tijuana, but it's pretty shoddy over there. So I don't think that would have. I think our show would have cut off several times over. But this is our first official 2025 show. So Happy New Year! If I had the fucking, the noisemakers and the hats, I would definitely have it on here. But anything in particular that you saw, Andrew, that kind of caught your attention as far as you wanted to bring up, or briefly bring up at least?
No, you let me ramble enough tonight. I thought you gave me the platform enough times with the whole story over there. What His Excellency's saying about the model that he's trying to create. Eesh, it's a bad model. It's a bad model. It's a terrible model. I wish I could do a Donald Trump.
It's a terrible model. Terrible
Yeah.
model.
Nobody likes that idea. It's a terrible idea.
wrong, right? Putting the the fucking mic, like wrong.
I think I did good with Coke didn't ask Pepsi though, right? That's a good one, you guys. It really is, because that's what they are to us. Now I get it. If you want to bring in the clothes and the lunch boxes and the toys and all the other bullshit that they sell, yes, they do billions of dollars. But I'm talking about fighters' payouts. I'm talking about fighters' careers. I'm talking about fighters' health. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what the fuck's going on in the MMA right now with all these guys with their CTE and the stories that you're hearing about these dudes that you can't put a microphone up to anymore, right? They had a lot of legends, bro, that are fucking hurt in the head right now. Don't be giving me this bullshit about, oh, you need to fight like them. It's not right, man. No, you shouldn't fight every hard guy that's on the roster fight after fight. No, you shouldn't fight the best guy there is in your era 4 fucking times in a row. Didn't we see what had happened to Israel Vasquez and Rafael Marquez? Didn't we see what happened to Ali and Frazier? Did we not see what happened to these guys when we do that to these type of men in the class of fighting that they'd give us? No, there's reasons why we can't do it back to back to back. You're fucking talking about destroying people's eyes, ears, brains.
And if we do, at least pay them a fuck ton of money, please.
There you go.
We do ask them, if at the very least, don't have them fucking get 250 to show and 250 to win.
Diego Corrales was never the same after Castillo's wars. He was never the same. So
they leave a part of themselves in the ring there. All right. Well, then that concludes our show. Just a few minutes shy of the 2-hour mark, but we made it regardless. So as I was saying earlier, there aren't any boxing. There isn't any boxing until the 24th. Oh, I'm doing this thing now. I'm gonna see if I can do it. And I know we try to not be like every other show, and I totally agree with that. But I know every other show at the end of the year does this stupid shit where they're like, oh, what's the knockout of the year? What's the decision of the year? What's the yada, 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 yada? I'm not planning to do that. However, I'm doing a slight twist on it. I did it before, several years before, just for shits and giggles. But I have a calendar on my work desk, and I write down the fights. I just put them on the fucking fight. So I want to, at the end of the year, just go over the fights. We forget sometimes. We're like, oh yeah, back in March we had this fight. Oh yeah, just to kind of do a trip down memory lane of that year to see what fights transpired that year. So I have my calendar here to my right. It's not Ryan Garcia. Trust me, it's not somebody else. It's whomever Andrew was talking to, because there's always people around him. But it's my calendar here that I have to my right above my work desk. And the first boxing event of the card, or of the January of the first month of the year, is Naoya Inoue against the new opponent. That's going to be January 24th. And then January 25th, we have Diego Pacheco taking on Steve Nelson. So that's going to be something. No fights this weekend, but we will get a couple of fights coming up. As a matter of fact, we're going to get like back to back to back, right? 24th in a way, and then 25th we have Pacheco, and then the first, I'm talking about January, and then the 1st of February with Morrell and David Benavidez. So we'll see. Oh, and by the way, that those fights are going to be here, right? Already said it, Morrell and Benavidez and Pacheco as well. So if I make it to any of the other grand arrivals or any sort of media obligations that I get invited to, you best believe I'm going to swing down there and get you guys some footage. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoy what I have gone you so far. I still have a couple more videos on my phone that I have to edit real quick and put them on the website, or not the website, the YouTube channel. So by all means, go ahead and check out our channel because we have a couple of extra videos and a few shorts on there for you guys. But that pretty much does it for our first show of 2025. Definitely looking forward to bringing you guys more shows throughout the year and more, possibly even more media footage. We appreciate you guys stopping by. We will see you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of your work week and take care, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Later, you guys.